Welcome everyone. Little rant time. I have to wait a day for YouTube to allow me to put in links into my description. And the reason for that is not only because I want to include links to these matches, as well as links to the forum post which this Invitational is happening on in the description below. I also want to make sure that I credit Dawnbuster in this video because Dawnbuster is also a YouTuber, you know? He's made a good amount of videos on GSC in general. A great video, in my opinion, being ISO versus Conflict and GSC Ubers. Recommend you check that one out. Anyways, getting into the match. We are in a scheist match, as some people would say, between Dawnbuster, who is playing as Hitmonlee Oswald, and Sonkakarp. Now, these two are no strangers from each other. They've played in the last year's GSC Slam finals, which Dawnbuster did win against Sonkakarp, where Sonkakarp is also a GSC Slam champion in his own regard, winning against Spen in this year's iteration of the GSC Slam. So both these guys are Slam winners. Both these guys have GSC down to the T, and they're RFNing in round 2 of this Invitational. This is a big deal because they're fighting for a winner's bracket bye slot for this week. Now, going off, Actually, these two guys, they're not even mainly centered around NU in particular. Sonkakarp pretty much plays what he wants. He just goes ahead, plays what he feels like playing, and he's a very good builder in NU, though. Has inspired some of my builds even, and Dawnbuster is mainly a UU player, actually the best UU player at the moment, and has been for quite a while. So, even though these two aren't centered around NU particularly, they are still extremely talented in this tier. They're really, really good. So I'm looking forward to what they do today. I'm looking forward to what they've built, what they use, how they use it, and let's get right into it. So starting off, we see a Ninetales versus a Wigglytuff lead. Now, Ninetales lead could mean anything. It could mean a Reflect set, it could mean a Sunny Day set, it could even be a Toxic set, but that's a little bit more old, and it also sort of pins you down to only using stallier, more defensive sets. Sunny Day gives you a lot of flexibility, especially right now, because you can either do a triple explosion team, or you can do a more of like a B and Mr. Soup style team with the Tentacool Almanite structure that we were talking about last video. A video is coming on that soon, by the way, not just a commentary like this. I'm actually going to edit that one. But, gosh, cars are honking. People are angry. Yeah, so I'm interested to see what this Ninetales set is, and we'll sort of be able to tell if it's a Sunny Day or not from the first turn, because Wigglytuff does not like to take any Sunny Day boosted flamethrowers, and if it doesn't use a Sunny Day first turn, then it's definitely not going to be a Sunny Day. So let's see how this starts out. I'll be pausing at some key moments during the game, and let's begin. So flamethrower coming up from Tails. No Sunny Day on this. There's no way there isn't. And Tails Tough curses up, ready to launch an attack, or can curse up again. Another flamethrower onto the Tough, and there's double curse. We're probably going to be seeing a rest this next turn on Carp's side, where we see a Reflect instead, and Carp calls it, and just frustrations. So Porygon switches in, another Curse Mon on Dawnbuster's side, whereas Chinchou switches in for Carp, revealing Thunder Wave. Now this is important because this means that Chinchou most likely does not have rest, and that means that all HP and status on Chinchou becomes a lot more important if you want to be using it throughout the game. Whether Carp wants to be doing that, I don't know, or he just wants to sack it and try to get this Porygon out. That might be a good idea, but there is no restless Chinchou. What I would see from this would be a couple more attacks, maybe a Protect, but at the same time, Protect hasn't been really thought out on Chinchou too much. A lot of people don't see any potential within it. I do personally, but that's just me. It's most likely going to be 3 other attacks, which would be Surf, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt if I had to guess. I don't really personally like Thunder on Chinchou without rest, just because if you have no recovery, that's a lot more risk you're undergoing. However, Dawnbuster has a standard Porygon out. It's got a Reflect up, so even if Primeape came in, it can just kind of curse up. You just have to worry about crit though, but if any fighting type like a Curse Hitmontop, a Hitmonlee came in, you'd be a little bit more shielded, although you don't really want to be cursing up on those to kind of give any switch in also a little bit more HP to work with. But yeah, going off this Chinchou, really interesting seeing Tough and Chinchou together. Usually you like to get Spikes up before bringing out Chinchou, in my opinion, but it does really well in Spikes teams. Anyways, moving on. Thunder coming out from Chinchou. Interesting choice, but a pair on Porygon. Another Thunder missing on the Porygon, where Porygon gets a curse up. This is looking really, really bad for the Chinchou right now. Has to switch out to Hitmontop, where it's revealed, and Double Edge comes out hitting huge onto the top. It recovers the leftovers HP. I don't know if it can survive another Double Edge, so Porygon hits another Double Edge, and it crits. It can't survive another Double Edge. I don't even know if that crit mattered too much. So Porygon, one curse up. Thunder finally hits, but Porygon lives on 1% and gets recover off. This is looking really, really bad. 24% left on Pori, it gets another recover off. It has an ability to keep on cursing up now, and a Thunder miss coming from the Chow. Porygon recovers up to full HP. It's free to curse right now, but it chooses Double Edge instead, taking some crucial HP off the Chinchou. This Chinchou is dead in the water, no pun intended. Sleeping with the fishes. Recover from Porygon. It's full HP. Another Thunder miss. This is looking really, really bad, and Chinchou is down. That's 6-4 for Dawnbuster right now. Now, Wigglytuff is a good option to switch in right now, not just to get leftovers HP, but this is the only thing that can really check this Porygon when it gets too many curses up, pretty much. If Tough is gone and Porygon has +4 attack, +4 defense, then game's pretty much over. So Carp has to use this Tough, make sure that it can get a lot of curses off, make sure it can keep on resting up, so save some HP just in case you get paired in the future, and just keep this Tough safe while also putting on constant pressure on this Porygon, because this Porygon's going to go out of control soon. Curse up from Tough. We're going to see a little bit of a curse war here, so I might be talking a little bit outside of the realm of the game, but we see a para coming out onto the Tough, meaning that it's going to be a little bit more risky coming from here. You might want to rest up this Tough a little bit sooner than later, unless this Tough doesn't even have rest, which I don't see that happening. I'm pretty sure it's got rest. It should, at least, unless it's a weirder set, which honestly I wouldn't be. There's definitely sets for Tough that don't have rest. I would definitely say that. Frustration coming on Porygon. Now Tough is winning the HP where Porygon can just recover this off no problem if it doesn't get paired. So this is sort of like a paralysis curse war right here. A little bit interesting. And para coming from Porygon. Remember, Tough does outspeed when they're at equal status for curse. So at a max curse or at +6 on each side, then Tough will still outspeed the Porygon. Porygon still is going to be slower for now, but packs a bunch of power with the meaty Double Edge right there onto the Tough, taking out a lot of HP. Of course, Tough can recover this if it had rest and it gets crit. That's looking terrible for Carp right here. Weezing has to explode right here, just get as much HP off this Porygon just to save the day, and Seakin comes out. This is looking horrible if it's just a physical attacker, but it's not. It's a surf attacker, and Porygon finally goes down, but at what cost? It's 5-1, and you just got a Stantler on your side. Graveler can just explode, but Carp also has a cursed Stantler right here, and it takes one explosion from Graveler, takes it down. Dawnbuster wins game 1. Yeah, that was definitely a game. Definitely a moment from Dawnbuster where he saw a good opening just to curse up on that Chinchou, especially with as many Thunder misses as there were. I don't know exactly how many Thunders actually hit. I think it was only 3, and I think we saw 5 Thunder misses, which is insane. Like, that is tough, but still, again, like, that was a good opening that Dawn kind of saw just to keep cursing up on Porygon, just whatever, and just get HP off on whatever threat was ahead of him. Like, for example, getting the HP off from the Hitmontop, getting the HP off from the Chow, just very well aware from Dawnbuster right there, which is a very good skill to have in this metagame. So, let's move on to game 2. Now, I don't know what we're going to see in game 2, but right now, again, this is the winner's bracket. So, you can kind of play risky either side here. You can kind of go with a crazy team if you feel like it, and worst case scenario, you go down a loser's bracket, which sucks. But best case scenario, you go to either A, in Carp's case, game 3, or B, you have a good chance to get a bye if you're a Dawnbuster. So let's see what they bring. Let's see if they bring anything crazy, if they're going to just stick to fundamentals right here. I can't wait to see it. Let's get on. So you see a Persian lead with a Primate. Now Persian right now is really, really hard to build with. The reason being is because we're seeing a lot more of Sudowoodo leads nowadays, or we're seeing a lot more of Even some Miracle Berry sets, I've seen a little bit of those, where Persian can't really do anything reliable to a lot of leads in the metagame. It's really tough for Persian right now if it's not the Double-Edged Thunder Rest Talk, in my opinion, set. It's especially given that Hypnosis can miss 40% of the time, and sometimes Thief won't even work if you're against like a Miracle Berry set or whatnot. Or it would work, but you don't really want a Miracle Berry in Persian. You sort of really want to steal those leftovers, especially against some tankier teams. I don't think Dawnbuster brought a tankier team. I think he brought a team just to break something through. Like, Primate Bleed is extremely aggressive. The only thing, there's a few mons you have to switch out if you're leading off with Primate. Like, if there's a lead Firo, which is very uncommon, you sort of have to switch out. Just be aware of that drill peck. If there's a lead Zatu, you have to switch out. Again, you don't want to take too much damage from that Psychic. And the only other thing I can think of, at least for Primate, is there's a lot of cases where you want to switch out on Wheezing. Wheezing is not a very good lead, or it's a really good lead into Primate. It's terrible if you were leading off with Primate, so you have to really switch out from there. So I'm expecting to see a Wheezing for this team, or something that can kind of take on a Wheezing. Maybe like a Ninetales, in the back, or any fire type like a Rapidash, because Rapidash and Primate just go really well together, in my opinion. So let's see what these two guys do. We see a Hypnosis straight up from Persian. This is the Hypnosis, Thief, Double Edge, and Screech set, and we see a Double Edge release right onto that Primate. Primate is asleep, but it's going to click Sleep Talk, and it's going to rest that back up. So its sleep turns go to 0, and now it's going to wake up at turn 2 when those sleep turns hit turn 2. Double Edge out from Persian, missing the cross chop onto the Persian. That would have KO'd instantaneously. And Primate is looking really, really low right now. It gets another Sleep Talk off, misses the Thunder. That would not have KO'd, but it could have gotten a Para, because this Persian is leftovers, so it's no Thief. Double Edge coming from Persian. Then onto the Wheezing. Dawn has to switch that Primate out just in case it needs it. What's this Wheezing going to do? It gets a Sludge Bomb off onto the Persian. Are we going to see this Persian switch up? It gets some crucial HP take down on Wheezing, but this is a rest Wheezing set, meaning that it has reliable recovery. This is looking tough for Carp to break through with just that Persian, because I don't think that Persian is Rest Talk. It's got a Hypnosis, so I really don't think it is. But we can see a Thief coming out onto a switched Porygon from Sudowoodo. Now this is looking pretty good for Carp. Sudowoodo is looking pretty good in this matchup if you can't switch in your Primate, which Dawn cannot. Porygon recovers, Sudowoodo explodes. Carp does not want to deal with the Porygon again, especially after last game. Dash comes out onto Primate. Now, let's stop and look at the game state. So, we see a 5-5 game state right now. Persian is really low in HP, or not really low, but you don't want to be below like 75% on a Persian, maybe even 60, just because Persian can't get any reliable recovery if it doesn't have Rest Talk. And Persian's also extremely frail. However, in turn, this Primate is really low. So say if a Carp can get this Persian out on a Primate switch, that would be incredible just for tempo. Getting that up, because that means Primate just has to switch out again. All it gets is 6% recovered from leftovers, and that's that. But now we see Dugong versus Dash. This Dash is most likely the Double-Edged Fire Blast Rest Talk variant. I don't really like to mess around with Rapidash sets, and I think that's the best set personally. This Dugong is also most likely the Surf Ice Beam Rest Talk set. Looking at this team, at least, you want some reliable recovery, especially from some special attackers, and also some shielding from the fire types. So getting recovery on Dugong like that is big. I don't think this is going to be the Encore sets that we've seen in the past. Usually those sets are Surf, Encore, Toxic, and Protect. Or you can also put Ice Beam instead of Surf. But I like Surf. I don't know exactly how strong that is in comparison, because even though you're missing out on hitting the flying types pretty hard, you also hit the rock types even harder. So, and you also get a little bit more power points with Surf, but that's more of me looking at the little details. Now, let's keep playing this game. Double Edge coming out from Rapidash. Carp stays in. Or no, sorry, it was the end of the turn. My bad. Octillery comes in on a Dugong. This is hard stops the Dugong. You have to switch the Dugong out unless you get an Ice Beam Freeze onto the Octillery, which from that, Dawnbuster gets hit with a huge HP Electrical. Not that big, but it's pretty big. all things considering. Now, Octillery's at 73% HP. It can kind of just stay in, keep on HP electricking, and Dugong has to rest out. Nasty crit coming out from Carp. You really should, or Dawnbuster stays in, sleep talks, trying to get a rest off, but that's a 1 in 3 roll. It's pretty tough. And Carp even thinks that Dawn's going to switch, so he surfs up. Another Ice Beam coming out off the sleep talk. You got an HP electric here. Lives on 1% HP. That's crazy. I want to see the roll after this game. I'll just pull it up on my own time, but Dawn ends up getting the rest back off, and now we're back to where we were originally on the original rest, where Dugong has to keep on rolling rest if it wants to survive, which it does in the first turn, thankfully. But another HP electric comes off. Sleep counter at 0. Another sleep talk comes out, hits Octillery with the surf. You either want to be hitting this Octillery with an Ice Beam and hope to get a freeze, or just getting a rest off, because even with getting a rest off, you want to just try to get a good avenue to switch this thing out. I wonder what else Dawn has in the back if he doesn't want to switch out this Dugong, is what I'm thinking, because this is pretty much you have so much. You already have a lot of recovery. I think he's trying to force a rest. He has to switch out now. He has to switch out soon if he wants to get this rest off on the. I think Dawn's trying to get it so that he can switch this Dugong out when Octillery's resting, but if Octillery rests right here, it's pretty bad for Dawnbuster, where that doesn't happen, but Dawnbuster does get crit, so Dugong at 41% gets a surf off, and Carp stays in. I think Carp really wants his Dugong, but he knows at some point he's got to rest, doesn't he? Like, he gets the Dugong down, but at what cost? This Octillery is so low, and Stantler just comes in. You have to sack this Octillery, which honestly is pretty nice to have in my opinion, especially against a Cursed Wheezing. But yeah, Stantler, now it's Stantler Wars, so we're cursing up on Stantler, but the difference is Stantler, if you have Curse, Frustration, Rest, Sleep Talk, then you can't really hit the rock types too well. So I don't know if these are Curse Stantlers or if they're just I don't know if these are Curse Rest Talk Stantlers or if they're just regular Curse Stantlers with like a Hypnosis or a Light Screen. I don't know if it is, but we'll never know because Rapidash comes in double edges. Graveler in the back now. EQ is a good move. You don't really want to explode on a 40% Persian, so good move coming out from Dawnbuster, and Seaking gets a big surf onto Wheezing. That's a critical hit right there too. It's what I was saying with Octillery earlier too. Like surf Octillery is pretty good in the Wheezing, even though it's on like a Sleep Talk Wheezing. Even though it doesn't even outspeed, it's still genuinely pretty good just to have like a nasty special attacker onto this Pokemon. Graveler comes back in, Rapidash hits the Fire Blast. It's worrisome right here because Cart now has to switch in Seaking, but this Graveler could explode. And Graveler can just keep on EQing as well, and you can just switch right back out to the other Wheezing, because this Wheezing is Rest Talk. Seaking, even though it has like a special attacking move, it's got Sword Stance as well. So this is a Sword Stance Surf set. It's probably going to have could it have an HP ground, or is it just Frustration? It's Frustration. Okay, that's a critical hit going on to the Wheezing. That's a Rest Talk Thunder set. So no, Octillery wouldn't have been good then. Okay, what am I saying? I haven't seen that set though, to be quite frank. I just don't really see that often. Seaking's now +2, but it switches out in lieu of the Primeape. It has to be conserved for this Graveler. It's gotta be staying for this Graveler. And Dawnbuster knows that, so he switches the Graveler into Rapidash. If this Graveler got burned, that would be really, really tough. And I think Carp is going for that burn, or just trying to get as much HP off in this Graveler as possible, but Graveler takes it out with an EQ. Now, Seaking out. You gotta surf in this Graveler, and now it's going to be a 1v1 versus the Seaking versus the Primeape, and I don't think the Seaking's going to be winning it. It's not. Oh, it lives, and it gets an agility off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Could this be it? No, it's not it. It's tough. But Dawnbuster wins 2-0. Thank you all so much for coming into the video. I appreciate it. And make sure if you like this type of stuff, like, comment, subscribe. I'm thinking about doing some team breakdowns as well that aren't just me commentating over games, that are me going in and editing an actual video. But until next time, take care. If you have any feedback, make sure to leave it in the comments. But yeah, Take care. Bye-bye.